The Book of Still Hearts, When the Mind Finds Its Quiet. Someone once asked an old hermit living above the clouds, "Master, what brings the deepest suffering to a human life?" The old man gazed toward the horizon where sunset brushed the sky and answered softly, "Not the wounds they carry, but the lessons they allow to fade." The wanderer asked again, "Then what brings peace to the heart?" The old man smiled, a smile touched by storms and sunrise alike. "Peace comes when we are brave enough to face ourselves, and gentle enough to forgive what was left unfinished." And from that single moment, this book begins. A book written at the turning points of 10 different lives, when each person stands before the greatest upheaval they have ever known, a moment that can break them, or lead them toward a new path where they rediscover meaning, courage, and the quiet peace they thought they had lost. Story 1, The Crack in the Mirror. Lena always believed unlucky things followed her. She was the kind of girl who avoided photos, apologized too often, and never felt good enough. And somehow, the old mirror in her room, the only place she dared to look at herself, understood that. But everything changed one quiet evening. As Lena reached for her coat, the mirror slipped from its hook. It hit the floor with a sharp crack, splitting into a dozen uneven pieces. She stared at them, heartbeat quickening. "Of course," she whispered. "Just my luck. Another sign that I'm broken." Her grandfather, a blind man who always sensed more than he saw, walked in. "What happened, Lena?" "The mirror fell," she said, frustrated. "It's ruined. And maybe, so am I." He kneeled beside her, running his fingers gently across the shards. To him, every broken piece still held a story. Then he said softly, "Lena, a broken mirror isn't there to curse you." He picked up one shard and lifted it toward the window. Sunlight touched the glass, splitting into tiny rays that danced across the floor like fireflies. "It's there to show you this truth. Even when something is not whole, it can still reflect the light." Lena looked down. In the shard, her reflection was imperfect. But somehow, it felt more honest, more real, than the flawless image she had chased for years. Her grandfather continued. "Child, strength doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from seeing your cracks, and choosing to shine through them anyway." For a long moment, Lena said nothing. But inside her, something small and stubborn began to breathe again. Something she thought she had lost. She lifted the shard, watching how the light bent through it. She wasn't flawless. She didn't have to be. Even broken things can sparkle. And sometimes, they sparkle more. That night, for the first time in her life, Lena looked at herself not with judgment, but with a quiet, gentle hope. The lesson learned is you don't need to be flawed. Story 2, The Letter on the Rooftop. Elias was a quiet, soft-hearted roofer who spent most of his days patching old shingles and listening to the wind whisper across the town. One morning, while fixing a crooked tile, his hand brushed against something unusual, a folded piece of paper tucked carefully between the roof tiles. It read, "If anyone finds this, please know that I've tried my very best." The words were fragile, like they were carrying the weight of years. Elias paused. He could have ignored it. He could have gone back to his work. But something in that trembling sentence called out to him. So he followed the trail. And it led him to an elderly woman living alone in a small, silent house. She opened the door with tired eyes, expecting nothing, expecting no one. Elias didn't question her. He didn't pry or scold or comfort too loudly. He simply said, with the gentlest voice, "I'm here, to read the rest of your story." From that day on, the two of them, one young, one old, began mending something deeper than a roof. They healed the loneliness stitched into their lives, one quiet conversation at a time. Sometimes, all it takes is someone who chooses to stay, and listen. Lesson for us, you don't have to fix the world. Sometimes, just being with a lonely heart is enough to change a life. Story 3, The Tea House for the Weary. Characters: Mira, the gentle owner of a small, hidden tea house at the corner of a quiet street. A simple wooden sign outside reads, "For those ready to give up, come inside." The tea house is small, almost hidden, with warm golden light spilling through its windows. Inside, the air smells faintly of jasmine and fresh herbs, and the gentle hum of soft music mixes with the clinking of porcelain cups. Each visitor is greeted by Mira herself, a calm presence with eyes that seem to understand more than words can say. Every guest receives a warm cup of tea, carefully brewed to soothe not just the body, but the heart. Mira offers them a single question, spoken softly yet with weight: how many more steps will it take for you to reach your finish line? At first, some are startled. Others pause, unsure how to answer. But the question lingers, filling the quiet corners of the room, urging reflection. With each sip, the heavy weight of doubt, fear, and exhaustion begins to lift. What felt impossible a moment ago now seems just a little more manageable. People often enter the tea house carrying invisible burdens, dreams deferred, hearts broken, plans that fell apart. Yet, when they leave, they carry something new, a spark of clarity, a flicker of courage, and a quiet determination to keep walking. Because sometimes, the right question at the right time is more powerful than any advice, any pep talk, or any miracle. Mira's tea house becomes a sanctuary, not for the strong, not for the perfect, but for the weary souls searching for just one reason to continue. It is a place where giving up isn't the answer, and where hope is brewed cup by cup. Life lesson: strength doesn't always come from within. Sometimes, all it takes is someone who asks the right question, someone who listens without judgment, to remind you that your journey matters and your steps, however small, are worth taking. Story 4: The Man Who Stood Against the Wind. Character: Kenji, a master kite maker. Kenji had once known the depths of despair. After the sudden death of his beloved wife, he had abandoned his craft entirely, leaving his workshop covered in dust and silence. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, yet the emptiness lingered. One sunny afternoon, a curious young boy from the neighborhood wandered into Kenji's yard, holding a brightly colored kite. He looked up at the sky and then at Kenji, his eyes wide with wonder. "Uncle," the boy said softly, "my kite only flies when I run. But yours would fly even if you stood still." Kenji's hands trembled. Tears, long held back, finally streamed down his cheeks. In that moment, he remembered his wife's gentle words, spoken years ago: "The one who knows how to stand still against the wind, that is the one who will soar the highest." The next day, Kenji returned to his workshop. He cleaned the dust off his tools, carefully selected the finest paper and bamboo, and began crafting a kite with patience and love. When he finally stepped outside and let it rise into the sky, he didn't need to run. The kite danced effortlessly on the wind, as if carrying with it his grief, his hope, and his newfound courage. Lesson: sometimes, healing and strength come not from running away from the storms of life, but from standing still, facing them, and letting your inner resilience lift you higher than you ever imagined. Story 5: The Beggar and the Empty Cup. Character: Soren, an old beggar. Every day, Soren would sit by the corner of the street, holding out his empty cup. The world passed him by, faces averted, hands closed, footsteps hurried. No one seemed to notice, no one seemed to care. Day after day, his cup remained empty, and so did his heart. One chilly morning, an old woman approached him. She looked at his cup and her eyes twinkled with warmth. "Your cup is not empty, dear," she said softly. "It is full of expectation. Full of hope. Full of the possibility of connection." Soren blinked. He had never thought of it that way. He had always believed the world was cruel, that life had nothing left to give him. And yet, here was someone offering a truth he had long forgotten, that giving and receiving begins not with coins or possessions, but with the courage to see the goodness in others, and in oneself. The next day, Soren returned to the same street corner. But this time, something was different. He smiled first. He greeted the passers-by with a kind word. He listened when someone spoke. Slowly, people responded. A coin here, a smile there, a few words of gratitude, small things, yet enough to begin filling his once empty cup. Day by day, Soren realized a profound truth: life does not owe him kindness, yet kindness always finds a way to flow to those who are willing to open their hearts. His emptiness had been a reflection of his fear, not the world's indifference. And in that moment, he understood that human connection, genuine, tender, unassuming, is the true treasure we all seek. Lesson: the world is not empty of kindness, sometimes, we are just too afraid or too tired to see it. Open your heart, offer a smile, and let life's abundance flow. Even an empty cup can overflow when touched by hope, courage, and human warmth. Story 6, The Gatekeeper of Dreams. Character: Ayla, the young woman who guards the entrance to the art exhibition. Every artist who arrives to display their work must first face Ayla's question. Did you create this out of love, or out of fear of being forgotten? Her words hang in the air, gentle yet piercing, like a mirror reflecting the depths of one's soul. Some artists pause, their hands trembling, as they confront the truth behind their creation. Some turn away quietly, realizing their work lacks the heart it once carried. Some break down in tears, overwhelmed by the recognition of dreams they had abandoned or forgotten. And some smile softly, the weight of fear lifting, as they remember the joy that first led them to create. Ayla does not judge. She merely stands at the gate, a silent witness to the journey of each heart that passes before her. In that quiet threshold, intentions are revealed, courage is tested, and creators are given a rare gift, the chance to rediscover why they create at all. Through her question, the artists learn a timeless truth, that fear may drive us to perform, but only love can give meaning to our work. Only when we create from the heart, unburdened by the shadows of insecurity, can our art touch others and leave a lasting mark on the world. Lesson to take away: life and art flourish only when born from passion and sincerity. Fear may whisper, but love must guide. When we dare to create for the sake of our hearts, we inspire, we heal, and we remind the world, and ourselves, what it truly means to be human. Story 7, Apology Hanging on the Tree. Yori, a quiet 13-year-old boy, would often wander to the old tree behind his house. There, he tied tiny pieces of paper to the branches, each one a whispered apology to his father, who had passed away. Every note carried a fragment of his guilt, a sliver of regret, and a wish to somehow undo the past. One afternoon, a stranger happened to pass by. He noticed the trembling papers fluttering in the wind and paused. He picked up one, read it, and then wrote a message of his own: no one is born perfect. But everyone has the right to be forgiven. Yori read the words. Tears streamed down his face, soaking the paper he held. For the first time, he felt a lightness in his chest, a warmth spreading through his heart. In that moment, he forgave himself. The heavy burden of guilt, the endless what-ifs, began to dissolve like mist under the morning sun. It was the beginning of something new: acceptance, healing, and the gentle understanding that loving someone also means allowing yourself to heal. Lesson to carry forward: we often hold on to guilt for things beyond our control, but forgiveness, especially self-forgiveness, is the first step to freedom. No one is perfect, yet every heart deserves compassion, both from others and from itself. Story 8, The Empty Chair in the Cafe. Character: Anna, a young waitress. Every afternoon, the warm sunlight filtered gently through the cafe windows, casting soft patterns across the small tables. In the quiet corner of the room, one chair always remained empty. Yet, without fail, Anna would place an extra glass of water there, as if expecting someone who would never come. Curious customers often asked, "Who is that for?" Anna would smile softly, a gentle light in her eyes reflecting memories only she could see. "It's for someone I once loved. Not to bring them back, but to remind me that I have loved." She continued her work, moving gracefully between tables, but the empty chair seemed to hold a quiet presence, a whisper of stories, laughter, and moments that once filled her life. Patrons came and went, yet the chair remained, a silent testament to the love and losses that shape us. In that simple act, there was a lesson: some losses are not meant to be forgotten, only remembered with tenderness. Love, even when gone, leaves a mark that can be gentle, comforting, and profoundly human. Lesson to take away: we don't need to forget the losses in our lives. Sometimes, giving a memory a small, quiet space, being gentle with our pain and honoring the love we once held, is enough to heal and to remember the beauty that once was. Story 9, The Forgotten Gift. Character: Theo, a postal worker. For years, a worn and forgotten package had sat quietly in the corner of the post office, sent to the wrong address and untouched by anyone. One slow, rainy afternoon, curiosity nudged Theo to open it. Inside, he found a carefully knitted scarf and a note in delicate handwriting: "For the day you choose to forgive your mother." Something in those simple words struck him deeply. He felt an ache he couldn't ignore, a reminder that sometimes, the smallest gestures carry the greatest weight. Determined, Theo embarked on a journey to find the intended recipient. He followed addresses, made phone calls, and knocked on doors. Finally, he arrived at a small house where a mother and her adult child had lived apart for years, their hearts heavy with silence. The reunion was not perfect. There were tears, hesitant smiles, and words that stumbled over old wounds. But in that moment, they began to rebuild the fragile bridge between them. Even imperfect moments can be the start of something beautiful. The scarf was just a piece of wool, yet it carried a story of hope, reconciliation, and the courage to forgive. Lesson: forgiveness doesn't erase the past, but it creates a space where healing can begin, and hearts can find their way back to each other. Story 10, The Pebble in the Shoe. Character: Rena, a young woman full of ambition. Rena was always dissatisfied, complaining about her job, her relationships, her life. Every day seemed heavy, every step a burden. One quiet afternoon, an elderly man noticed her frustration and handed her a small, smooth pebble. "Carry this in your shoe," he said softly. "Walk with it long enough, and you will understand. It is not the path that causes pain, it is the weight you choose to carry along the way." Rena laughed at first, thinking it a silly gesture. But she slipped the pebble into her shoe and continued her day. Each step brought a sharp reminder of its presence, a constant, subtle discomfort. Slowly, she realized something profound: the pain she had carried was not caused by life itself, but by the grudges, fears, and regrets she refused to release. After days of walking with the pebble, Rena finally removed it. She looked at it thoughtfully, understanding at last that growth does not come from avoiding hardship, but from learning what to let go. The pebble was heavy, but the lesson it carried was light: freedom begins when we release what no longer serves us. Lesson: life is not always about the paths we take, but the burdens we choose to leave behind. True strength lies in the courage to let go. The book closes, the heart opens. And so the stories end, but the lessons remain, woven like threads through the fabric of ordinary lives. Broken mirrors that reflect light, letters that carry courage, quiet tea houses that restore hope, kites that rise when we stand still, empty cups that overflow with kindness, apologies that heal, empty chairs that honor love, forgotten gifts that teach forgiveness, and pebbles that remind us what burdens to release. Life does not demand perfection. It asks only that we show up, that we feel deeply, that we choose gently, and that we allow ourselves, and others, the grace to heal, to grow, and to shine. For in every crack, every pause, every silence, and every stumble, the heart learns its own way to bloom. And sometimes, the most ordinary moments carry the most extraordinary light. The end, or perhaps, the beginning. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Your support helps me create even more meaningful stories for you.
Peace.